Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of this quick tutorial. So as you know, in part 1 we finished installing WordPress into our domain and into our hosting. So in this tutorial, or in this part, we're gonna continue now with the basic configurations of the WordPress site, and I'll help you around the different functionality that you can do in the back end and how this would affect what you see on the front end of your website. So to start with, I'm gonna sign in into the installation which we have made. Of course, if you watched the previous part, you know that we have installed WordPress into my personal domain name. So we're gonna enter the installation files now, and we're gonna enter the WordPress environment. Alright, and I have the page open where I'm going to summarize the basic stages and the basic steps, the basic points which we're gonna mention here in the video. I'm gonna highlight it as we speak and put it as headlines, and at the end when I upload the video on YouTube, I'm gonna put the link of this page underneath the video, which means that you can simply go back to this page and work things out if you feel that you need a summary of some kind. So right now this is a brand new WordPress installation. We still didn't do anything on this site yet, and we're gonna go through the steps one by one of all the basic configurations, and as you will see now. So the first step is that I feel like we need to go into a basic introduction on the menus and what you can see over here. Yeah, so as you can see, there's the dashboard. Let's click on the dashboard, and we are actually in the dashboard of the WordPress file, but this is always changing depending on what you are installing, the plugins that you are installing in the WordPress site. And WordPress is always evolving. So I see now that there's a cool home page which is asking you what do you want to build with this site, so this, I'm gonna say that this is gonna be a business site, but anyway, this is all anyway, all this can be skipped for some. You can skip this, or because this is all can be changed from the settings any time in the future. So for now, we're gonna put the site title and the site description. So the site title is my personal, or Mahmoud Otaibi site, or just Mahmoud Otaibi, and the site description is my personal website, as an example. Next up, he's gonna ask you, are you going to update your site with news or blog posts? So are you planning to blog, or you're not planning to blog? So basically, I guess he's asking you this for one reason, because right now he's setting up the website for you. And I'll tell you, whatever you answer here, I'll be showing you around how you can like structure your website. And the specific thing which I guess he's asking about is that in WordPress, usually, as you know, WordPress is just a blogging environment, right? It started as a blog, but it evolved dramatically, and it evolved to a great degree, of course, in the last years. So nowadays we are using WordPress to power up websites which initially doesn't look as a blog in the first place. So example, when you are looking at my Kaboom the Web right now, the first instant look, you can see that the homepage is not a blog, right? It's just a homepage which I personally designed myself. So that's the homepage. Now, in some other WordPress sites, the home page is the blog website. So when you enter the website, you'll be directly seeing the blog, which is the page where it shows the latest articles which you are writing from inside your WordPress environment, right? So that's the blog page, and that's the home page. And you can choose any one of them to be your home page. So I guess I'm not sure if he's asking this question in order maybe for WordPress to set up our home page. I don't know like what's the effect. So, but like I said, doesn't matter, because at the end you can do whatever you want. So for now, I'm gonna say yes. I assume that you're planning to blog in the future. And exactly, that was just exactly what I was saying right now. So you see here, it's giving us the option of either having the home page as the page which will show the latest news and updates, which is basically the blog, or a static welcome page, right? So this is a static page, and this is the blog page. So he's just asking us what you like to have in the home page. So it doesn't matter. It really depends on what you want to build at the end. But for now, I could go with a static page, you know. And of course, I advise you to have a static page on your business page, because you know, we're gonna talk about this later as part of how you are going to structure your website. And again, he's asking you to do the contact us page. I'm gonna skip all of this, to be honest, because really in the tutorial we're gonna go through all the things together, and we can build everything manually. We don't need WordPress to do this for us, right? So I'll just do no thanks, not now, not now. Install WooCommerce, skip this. You know, WooCommerce is the plugin which you can use to turn your WordPress into an e-commerce site. So we can skip this because we're not planning to build an e-commerce site now. Let's launch Mahmoud Utaibi, right? Fine. So there's an X. I hope it showed up like long time back. I'm gonna finally click on the exit this page. Now that's a traditional dashboard of WordPress, which, like I said, it's gonna bring you tons of updates coming from all the plugins. If you can see the plugins which you are installing. So that's the home page definition. And I'll start. So the basic components. So we just defined together the home page. Right? Oh, sorry, dashboard. Cool. So as an example, the dashboard, if you are installing, okay, let me open for you my personal dashboard for kaboomtheweb.com and just show you how the dashboards, they are different from each other. Sort of the dashboard is evolving as a website is growing, with more blogs, with more plugins that you're installing, with more features that you are upgrading, and you know, all of that. So a developed dashboard will look something like that. Again, the Kaboom the Web is so far from being that, you know, developed website, but still, I just want to give you some example of how really dashboard is different from one side to the other. And here's the point: you can play with it. You know, there's plenty of blocks you can play with it, right and left, add blocks, remove blocks, and do tons of things, right? Also, if you scroll, if you see here at this page, at this small option here, if you click on it, you can decide which boxes you want to see. So, for example, we just removed the please connect the opt-in monster box, which I guess it's showing here. Yes, please connect opt-in monster. That's a box which you can choose not to see, right? Of course, why are you seeing the opt-in monster? Because there's a plugin here, an installation, which is called opt-in monster, right? So that's how the dashboard likes pulling out, putting all the different stuff right in front of your own eyes, and you can choose what you want to see and what you want to not to see, right? So that's for the dashboard. Let's move on. That's for the dashboard. Now I'm gonna leave like Jetpack is a plugin which you can uninstall. Opt-in Monster is a plugin which you can uninstall, and a plugin, as you can see here, is like a small piece of software which is packaged under one installation, right? Which you can install and add into your WordPress installation, and there are tons of plugins. Each plugin expands the functionality of your website in one area. So example, the opt-in monster plugin is the plugin which would be responsible for you to collect usernames and information of your website visitors. So you can create an opt-in form and have it in your home page, where it will pop up in front of your customers, and then it will ask them to enter their username and password. Their email and name and so forth. So you can build your email list, right? So I'm just giving you some examples for you to understand why are you seeing Jetpack, why are you seeing opt-in monster. And most probably now, if you go and hit plugins, you will be able to see you'll be able to see the installed plugins which is already installed on your website. So if you scroll to the installed plugins here, as you can see, we already see that we have the Jetpack by WordPress, which I just told you about, and we have the opt-in monster API, and then we have WP Forms. That's a plugin used to install forms on your website, on the different pages of your site, right? Accordingly, on the left page, you can see how you have the plugins which are installed here available in your left side of the menu. So you can see the Jetpack. Even there you can see the Bluehost plugin, which you can, by the way, deactivate. Anyway, like there's plenty of details for each plugin. We're not gonna go through the details of each plugin now, because each plugin has its own functionality, its own usage, its own purpose. So for now, we're gonna skip all of this. I'm just gonna show you how you have a Bluehost plugin. Count with me: Bluehost, that's 1; Jetpack, that's 2; WP Forms, that's 3, and then we have the opt-in monster, that's 4. And you can see here the 4 plugins installed. For example, WP Forms, opt-in monster, Jetpack, and Bluehost. So if you decide to deactivate WP Forms, right, you will see that the plugin will disappear from the left side of your WordPress installation. There's no more WP Forms on the left. The last thing which I need to tell you here about the plugins is that, as you can see, there are some default plugins that comes with your installation of your website. Now, usually this, I don't know, like based on what these plugins are being selected and installed, but I guess it's just an arrangement maybe between Bluehost, who's installing the WordPress installation files into your server. So I guess it's just a marketing tactic between Bluehost, or the host of your website, and the different companies, right? They could be affiliated together or anything, you know. So if you are installing your WordPress with GoDaddy, it's not necessarily that you're gonna see all the different plugins that I'm seeing now in front of me. Anyhow, you can play with the plugins for now. Don't worry, nothing is like really that important. We can create more videos, and I will create more videos about the basic plugins which you need to have in your website. And there's plenty, like I guess there will be like 7 to 10 plugins, which is very important that you need to have in your website. For now, let's skip this and move to the other point, right? So the basic component, we finished the dashboard. We talked about now the plugins. Of course, this is just for me to structure the page. Later on, I'm gonna rewatch the videos myself, and I'm gonna, like, whatever the stuff which I was telling you about now about the plugin or about the dashboard, I'm gonna summarize again and create a complete course out of this. But for now, I'll be moving forward to the other components. Okay, so let's continue. The posts component. The post component is the place. Let me click on it. The post component is the place where you're gonna where you can create your blog posts from, right? So if you look at mykabundaweb.com, you can see that there's a blog page over here, right? So when you want to create a blog post to show in your blog, like this one, for example, that's a blog post on my website, right? When you want to create a blog post, you come to the post section and just create a new post. Now, with every single installation of any WordPress website, there is always a default post, which is you will always find there, which is called the Hello World post. I'm just going to give you some examples of how posting actually work as a blogger, because you're on WordPress, you would be blogging from your platform. So that's where you're going to blog. So I'm going to view the blog post now. You see, first of all, let's have a look at our website. We still haven't checked our website. So that's the website, and that's how it looks. Now, don't worry about many of things. It doesn't feel right. I know the website doesn't feel right. Like, for example, there is no menu, which I'm having here on my fully developed website, right? So from where can you access the blog? The answer is, at the moment, you cannot access blog from your home page because you still don't have a menu. So you need to create a menu first, right? So leave this aside for now. But what I'm gonna show you is that from when I clicked on view, I was able to see the blog page, the actual blog post, which is called Hello World, right? So let me click on edit. Let's edit this blog post, and you can easily tell that that's the exact page and that's the exact URL of the blog post, because every single post, it's a page on the internet, right? So it has its own unique URL. And as you can see here, the blog post is the blog URL is unique, and if you click on the unique URL, you'll end up in your unique blog post page. And obviously it's the same what you see over here. Now I'm gonna show you how you can play. This is me writing and editing. If you want to update this, you will see this. Most probably, just reflecting in your actual blog post, right? So that's where you can look at your posts. There is other section here under your post. There is something called the categories and the tags. So you could also, if you are, for example, if you are a blogger or running a post in personal development, you would create 2 categories or 3 depending on the topics which you're blogging about. So one category could be personal development in, let's say, in mind, as an example. So all posts which is under the mind will be categorized with mind. We can have body, we can have health, whatever. And you can control and you can assign both categories and tags in here, on the side of each blog. You can add tags, you can add categories, and then you can go back and edit them later on. Now I'm just gonna show you one thing here, how there's plenty and tons of usages of categories and tags. Of course, there are importance anyhow, and SEO, search engine optimization importance. So you need to have your categories and tags assigned for each post, because this will help your SEO. It's not an important factor, however, but another important factor is later on when you have your fully developed website with a lot of content, you can start playing with functionality. Like I said, you'll be installing a lot of cool plugins. So for example, as you can see on my home page, through one of the plugins, I choose to show up specific blog posts, right? Specific blog posts. So why am I showing you this now? Because you can control which kind of blogs you show on your home page based on the category. So the plugin would come and ask you and tell you, see, you can choose to push the blog post which is having the category of, for example, core message, as an example. So assuming that you have a category called my core message, right? Okay, so on purpose, I'm choosing this word now. Let's say the core message, to indicate that you can work on categorizing your content which is coming out of you into different categories. So keep, with plans in mind. For example, that you want to show your core message content on the home page of your website. Just an example of how you could be using the categories in the future. Yeah, so let's continue, right? And we just covered the talk on the posts. Perfect. Let's continue. Media is obviously where you store your media files of the website. It's a media library at the end. So let me go and show you the media library of a fully developed website like kaboomtheweb.com. So if I click on my media library, you will see that I have tons of files being uploaded, pictures, of course no videos. I don't upload videos, it's only pictures. These are tons of pictures here, which is being used, by the way. The pictures, when as you are writing your blog posts, for example, you are writing your blog post here, and then you are simply you are writing a blog post, and you are uploading a picture. So you upload the picture directly. Okay, let me give you some real example over here. So right now you're writing a blog post, you are adding any media, literally any media into this blog post. Let me pick something, like anything, as an example, because this is just a dummy post which we're gonna delete together. So anyhow, the media is being uploaded here, and I'm gonna update the blog post. Now we can have a look on the effect of this on my blog post. So that's the media being uploaded, and at the same time, when you look at your media library, you will find the picture being also uploaded in your media library. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this to tell you that you don't need to worry about uploading in the media library first. You can simply just upload. As you are writing a blog post, you upload what you need to upload as part of your content which you are writing, and by default everything later on will be seen in the media library of yours. One cool thing which I can tell you about here is that for every single upload which you have, there will be a URL, right? There will be a URL which you can access your upload anytime you want, and this is something which I always like to use, so I'll tell you as an example in my website, right? Let's say I want to use, let's say you are doing your thing like randomly, and let's say you want to have this picture, right? Or in many cases, let's say I want to have my own logo, right? If I can access my WordPress installation on my media in my WordPress installation, and then I can go to the URL of my content and then simply download the full version of what I need to download, so this is just a cool thing, a cool trick which you can do in the future. So we just covered for you now, the media part, right? Cool. Let's move on, and then you have the pages. Now I'll make it easier for you to see one thing. The pages, there's like a traditional comparison which anyone who's getting into WordPress needs to understand the difference between a page and a post, right? So I'm gonna tell you the difference right now. The difference is that in any WordPress environment, there is a post which you are writing as your blog update. So these posts are what you write and publish as a blog, and it automatically gets pushed into your blog, and it will always appear as the latest post in terms of visibility and the date. So if you look here on my website, you see that this is the blog post which I published on April 7. The one underneath I published at April 5th. The one underneath I published in December 12th, 2017, almost 4 months back or 3 months back. Anyhow, so as you can see, so the posts are the ones which will be pushed and will appear under the blog. As for the pages are static. There is no change in the page. Once you create a page, it will always stay in its place, and it's you who will decide where you want to put that page on your website. So for example, I created one page which is called My Story. So this is the page, right, on my website, which is called Stories, right? You can see here the URL. So that's a static page. It will never change, and it will never be showing in the blog. It will stay as it is now. And yeah, so pages are very important because it builds the structure of your website, and it builds the the structure. We're gonna talk about this later in a dedicated video because it's very important to build a right structure. We call it the cornerstone structure on your website. So you create sort of a primary page and you do internal linking inside the website, and there is a parent page linking to a child page, linking to a child page. So this kind of structure is very important. What I can show you here as an example of what I'm saying is of this idea of structuring is that how I have a page called resources, which goes, for example, into another page, you see, another page called book club, and then you can see here the page, which again, there's an internal linking inside the website, and I've linked my blog, which is the Millionaire Messenger book review, from inside this page, which is called book club, which is kind of in level number 3 in the website. So we have the home page, it links to resources, resources links to book club has a link to this blog post, right, which is called the Millionaire Messenger blog post, right? So anyhow, I'm just trying to give you like some sense of what we are talking about here. There's a lot of details in what I just said, so don't worry about it, just leave it for now, and we're gonna talk about this separately. For now, let's get rid of the basics now, and we'll continue. But I'll just add what I just covered now, the pages. Cool. And then we have the comments. Obviously, comments, that's very obvious. When you start having your blog post on your website, people will start commenting. So if I write a comment now, hello, amazing blog post, for example. You can choose whether or not, obviously all the comments will be going into the comments section of your website, you know. And in this case, the functionality, as you can see, we just wrote a comment and the comment just appeared right away in the homepage. Now you can choose an approval process where you need to approve comments for it to show on the website. And comments has a lot of scams, by the way. A lot of people come and scam your website. They're not even people. They are bots and computers and weird things happening. They come, they scam your website, and they do I don't know what there's like a lot of nasty things happening here, and that's why there are some plugins. For example, in my website kaboomtheweb.com, you'll be able to see I have 147 comments, which I assure you 99.9% are scam comments. Like you can see, weird names, weird URLs, it's unbelievable, and they start writing things, right? And I can from here approve or disapprove or mark as scam and all of that. Okay, so let's continue. Now I need to plug my battery. Alright, so yeah, so that's the comments part. In appearance, I'm gonna leave that till the end of this. Why? Because after I finish covering the basic components, we're gonna talk about the appearance, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna play with the website, create menus, create headers, change the theme of the website. All of this is happening from the appearance over here. And then we have the plugins. As I told you, the plugins this is the place where you install new plugins to expand functionality. This is quite similar to your iPhone or Android. When you go to your Apple Store or the App Store, whatever, and you start installing like a specific tool, whatever, you know, or an app, right? So with this new app, you can start doing new things with your phone. This is exactly the same. So you can go on and you can search new plugins. See here the field add new plugins, and this is where you can start browsing, and there are hundreds of thousands of plugins out there. You can search if you have something specific in mind. You can obviously you are seeing now the most popular plugins out there. So contact form is for you to build to have contacts embedded on your website. Yoast SEO is one of the most amazing and popular plugins used for SEO optimization, right? And site indexing. More on that later. There's Aximate anti-spam. This is the one which is gonna fight your spam, basically fight spam to happen on your blog post, like in comments and stuff, and tons and tons and tons of other things, you know, tons of other things. Okay, let's move on. So there's the plugins, and then there's the users. Right? So users are the people who are registering on your website at the end of the day. Because you saw how we entered WordPress, we became a user on this WordPress environment, and then we are obviously an administrator. So you can't really delete yourself, or you're the default user. But later on, when you start having, for example, a membership website, the people who are registering on your website will be listed in your user, and accordingly you can start creating like membership levels and restriction and some access restriction to some of your course content, for example. Of course, all of this will be happening through membership plugins. So even when you turn your WordPress into a membership website, or when you're creating your own course and you want to lock that course so only members can access, it's all doable, and it's all gonna happen through plugins, right? So that's the users part. And then we have the settings, which is the last thing which I'm gonna cover here. Settings is obviously about like default settings in your website. Like we can literally play with each one of them. There's some work in each one of them. For example, in here you can choose your site title. Remember when I told you when we started configuring the website, you can skip all of that small like user interface tutorial by WordPress, because that's where you can play and change your site title or tagline, you know, your default email address, time zone of your website for comments and stuff, you know, the cache, and how, you know, I don't really understand the levels, the difference between the different levels of cache. So but it's like sort of, I know what it does, but I at this point I can't really explain it to you. But at this point you don't need to worry about it. We can sort this out later on, you know. Then okay, so I'm just gonna show you, this is all basic stuff. So at the last thing which we need to, yeah, so I want to say that when we're gonna do a lot of settings, you know, we're gonna do a lot of settings editing here, along with the appearance when we start customizing the website, you know. So no need when we start customizing and building the actual website. So for now we have settings, and also the last thing is appearance. So I guess now we can start speaking about functionality, because this is small tutorial is split between the basic site configuration, or basic site components. Components is the better name, by the way. Okay, so the basic site components, which we just covered for you now. The second part of this training, which we're gonna start is the functionality. Okay, the basic WordPress functionality. And this is when we're gonna right now start building your website. And this, what we're gonna do now, will take effect on your homepage, like in creating menus, okay, putting some banners and stuff, you know. But anyhow, before we start, I need to tell you one thing, that the building your website and building how and you know, fixing the different pages of your website depends on one thing which is now missing in your installation, which is called the content or visual builder. So if you look at your posts in here, let's create a new post. How WordPress, there's a basic editor in which you can start writing content, right? Now this is like really like something really classical, and it's never recommended you to work on this and publish with this, because you can do any design on your WordPress if you are working on this type of editor. The solution is that you would want to install a content or a visual editor plugin, right? And there are plenty of them. Now luckily, what I'm gonna install now on this installation is one of the best, absolutely best Thrive content editor ever. So this content is this plugin is called the Thrive Architect. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna install this, but what I want to show you is this cool functionality of how you can actually build whatever that you want to build. Like for example, this page I've built it with Thrive Architect, or which is the content builder which I told you about. Or even my blog posts, you can see here, when I look at one of the blog posts, for example, you can see that there's like a good structure, you know, when it comes to bullet points, headlines and titles. You can add videos in the middle, you can add like tons of things. Let me show you some of the pages which is like properly worked on, and you can imagine what's going on. Okay, see this type of bullet points, for example. See this type of button. This is a button where you can press and go to you know, see this video, see this cool banner, see this table. So all of this was actually built with the Thrive Content Editor. And I'm gonna show you one last thing before we actually start building the website together, right? Let's go to our basic dashboard. And if you want to do a blog post, now like I said, remember, the plugins extend the functionality of your website. So because I have Thrive Architect installed, you see that I start having this functionality in my post, right? Which means that I can edit and I can build the page not using the traditional editor, but using Thrive Architect, which is the same environment which you see over here. You know, this is Thrive Architect. Later on this is already okay. So I guess we covered the basic components of the home page now. And you know, I'm a it's a bit, it's close to 3 a.m. So please excuse my, I'm getting out of focus, and I feel like I'm getting out of focus in the last 15 minutes. So I'm gonna pause the video now and take a small break and continue with part 2 and how we're gonna build the basic structure of your website. Alright guys, thank you so much for your patience here. I'm back, and let's continue with part 2 of this second video in our training. Oh god, I feel so good. I I took this small break now. So let's go and start building our website right now. Okay. So first off, where's our, hold on a second, yeah, that's our website. Cool. So like I said, in this part we're gonna mostly work with settings, work with appearance, and build a structure in our website with the current theme. The current theme, if you click on the theme, you will see that it's really the default theme. It's called 2017. So I have to tell you here that with every single installation, there are, obviously you need to have a theme which will have the look and feel of your website, what you see here. So this is a theme, obviously, which is currently there. It's called 2017. You can choose to change the themes. It doesn't matter, because just the database will always be the same, but the theme is what will pull out, is how your website will look like when it's pulling out all the data from the inside, right? So an example, just a small example, let me go to your blog page. Pages. Let me go to your blog page. Click on view. I'm just gonna show you so you get a sense of what a theme can do to your website. So that's the page which is currently on. I'm gonna go right now and change the theme, and then refresh the page and see how the two will be different. So I'm gonna activate 2016 theme. Now 2016 is activated. Let's copy the URL from here and paste. I paste it again so we can see the difference between both. So let's have a look at what we see here. The second one, see, this one has a header, for example, which is not there in the second one. Actually it is, it's here. It's Mahmoud Utaibi, my personal website. Mahmoud Utaibi, my personal website, but this has a background. And this doesn't have a background. Also the dimensions are different, and the sizing are different, and the font is different. Blog is showing here, but blog is not showing here, right? So this means that this theme is showing because I'm in a page called blog. So this theme is showing the title of the page, while this theme doesn't show the title of the page. Plus the structure of it's the CSS code at the end. So I guess it's how the page will look, how the page will be structured, fonts, arrangements, locations of the different elements, all of that. So for now, I don't want to worry about the theme. I just want you to understand the functionality of your website and how, although, because I know how it feels. I remember when I was new to WordPress, it was very hard for me to imagine how this page, this ugly looking page, will evolve into a full website. a full website with menus and all what I want to see. So I fully assure you now that you're gonna end up having a website which is like exactly what you see in fully developed websites. Just you know, just a matter of you understanding the functionality, and that's what we're gonna clear now in this part. So I guess what I'm gonna do right now is address the specific functionalities that you will be doing separately, one by one, and do it live in front of you now. So first off, let me grab this here. And yes, so the basic WordPress functionality, let me start addressing them one by one. Right, so let's start. First of all, I want you to understand. Okay, the best way to start about this is, I guess, menus. Because menus will give you some structure and some sense of your homepage. So let's go to appearance. We're gonna go to menus. Obviously, menu is the element which you see over here. Like this is a menu, for example. It's called the main menu or the header menu. And this is another menu, right? And so forth. So when you're creating a menu, you need to name the menu of yours. Since we are creating the primary menu, let's call it the primary menu. And then you're gonna create the menu. So that's the first step. And then, exactly, you see, okay, for you to understand and not like mix things up, let me change this into basic first menu, for example, save. Why I did this? Because I just noticed that there is the display location. It has the same name, so I just want it to be different from each other. So in the menu, as we are creating the menu, first you need to create the write the menu name, and then select the location of the menu. Now the locations of the menu depends on the theme that you have selected. So some themes have more than one location of menus. Like it could have like 3 locations, but our current theme has only 2 locations. Sorry. So for this theme of this selection, it's gonna be we're gonna select it to be as the primary menu, right? And you know, I'm gonna always keep an eye on our website, so we see the effect of what we are doing now on the primary website. So when we save, we just created a menu and saved it as the primary menu. Now let's refresh. We should see a menu over here. It's not showing, I guess, because there is no elements yet. So we need to go from left side and add some elements. Now, as you can see, there is plenty of sections here, the stuff which you can add to your menu. It simply pulls out everything that is in your website. So if you have created like multiple pages from there, right? If you have created multiple pages, it all will be showing here. Like if you want to create a contact us page or about us page, in fact, let's do this right now. So let me create an about me page, since it's my personal website, right? This is my about me page. I'm gonna publish, and I'm gonna refresh. So the about me page now is showing here, right? So let's start adding some pages. So I want to add the home page, the blog page, and the about me page to the main menu. And you can play with them. You can play with the order. So I want my home page to be first, then the blog page, then the about me page. I'm gonna save, let it save. You see that when it refreshes, and then when you refresh you just see what just happened now. The menu had popped up, you know, as what I created there. So that's the first functionality which is which you can do, which is creating your menus. Creating menus. And I'll be more precise here. So creating your primary menu, and later on I'm gonna create for you a footer menu. Footer menu, because definitely you would need to have more than one menu. I don't think one menu is enough in your website. Like in my case, in my Kaboom the website, you can see that there's my primary menu, and if you scroll down, you will find I have another menu which belongs to the Academy members, as an example, right? There's another menu which I called Work with Us or Coming Soon menu. So this area of your website is called the footer area because it's in the footer of your website, and it's also a widgeted area. And that's the second element which the second functionality which I'd like to show you how to work with, which is the widget functionality. So why I jumped to widgets while I was talking to menus, because when we are displaying the menus in places like the footer, we are actually using widgets to do that, right? So let me show you what I mean in here. So as you can see in the appearance, there is the menus which we just covered now together. Now the header, there's one cool tip which I'd like to give you now. Okay. Exactly. So I'm gonna leave this for till the end, right? Or you know what, let's cover this now. So there's two ways for you to customize your appearance of your website. There is this is like a basic, this is a very basic panel which is associated and will always be associated with WordPress. So here you can change the header image. The header is this, so you can put an image in your header, right? You can play with the colors. For example, if I click on green here, this will just see what happened now. The color is changing of when I hover on the menu. And the menus, this is another way to edit and play with menus. You can do it from here as well. So this is the basic first menu with the current pages. It's what we have selected just now in the past 2 minutes. Widgets is where we're gonna play with widgets. Home page settings, this is also a functionality which I'm gonna show you how to do from the settings from here. Basically this is where you select what you want to show on your home page and your post page. I'm gonna show you how to do this again, but anyway, to be honest, I don't see any use for this panel. The only use for this panel, which is unique, something which you cannot do from the dashboard, is just the colors, like truly just the colors and the background. Anything else you see here you can do from the you can do from the website itself, from the dashboard. And yeah, so if you want to play with colors or apply background images. Now this is only can be done from this panel, but anyhow, we can play with that later on. From my side now, I wanted to show you the widgets area. So there are in WordPress, there are some area in your website, in your page, called widgets. So also it depends on the theme. So certain themes has like more widget areas than others. In our case, based on what you can see here, there's 3 areas or 3 widgets. That's it. 3 widgets areas. Awesome. So you can see that there is a sidebar widget, there's a content bottom 2, there's a content bottom 1. So let me show you where are those widgets located on your website. This is the home page, or this is the actual website, right? Which I created a menu now, home page, blog about me. Anyway, the widget is showing over here. So the sidebar widget is what you are seeing on your right side. And you can see here the details which you are seeing here. For example, the search, or the recent posts, or the recent comments, or the archives of your blog posts, or the categories of your website, or the meta descriptions, and the structure of your, the meta descriptions. I'm not really sure what this means, but it's not something which you would need to deal with. It's just the links for now. What I see here is it's just the links which you are, like I said, when you are accessing your WordPress site. This is a site admin, or that's how you can log out from your site. Entries, RSS, comments, RSS. I guess this is kind of an automated feed which you can give to your website from other sources, Anyway, that's something minor for now. So what I want to show you is that your widgets on the right side is all controllable from here. So if you choose to remove the search widget from the right side of the screen, all what you need to do is go here and delete the widget. It's done. So when you refresh the page, you won't see any widgets. As simple as that. So for example, let's say that you don't want any sidebar widget, like none, 0. Let's clean up the site, because the widgets give you the feeling that you are looking into an archive, or this is not really a home page. So I want to give you this feeling now that you are working with a home page. You are working with a website. Refresh, and there you go. That's your home page of your website. Let's say you want to add a widget in the content bottom. You want to add another menu in the content bottom, and we want to add a calendar in the content bottom too, right? Of course, you and I only created one menu. So that one menu is what only showing here. But in case you want to create a secondary menu, like I was telling you, create it first in the menu section, so it will appear in the drop-down list, so you can select it, and it will appear here again for you to add a secondary menu in another places on your website, like the content bottom 1. So another menu example, save. For the calendar, just type in calendar, for example, save and refresh. You're gonna see the effect of this happening on your website right now. So this is the same exact menu which we created. It's showing up in widget area 1 and widget area, sorry, the bottom, it's called the content bottom 1, content bottom 2. So that's 1 and that's 2. Let's clean up a little bit. We don't need to look at this here, and let's leave the second menu. Fine. So that's one functionality. So creating a footer menu, we just did this now in front of you. What we just did together is we just played with widgets, right? So playing with widgets. The last thing which I need to add, talking about widgets, is what you see here. There's plenty of widgets. You can do plenty of widgets, so you can choose many different widgets to be in those widgeted areas in your website. One thing which is also worth noting is that the different plugins which you will be installing, every plugin can have its own widget. So if you have, for example, your opt-in monster, or you need the form, for example, plugin, and you want to collect information, or in terms of form, or even a survey, for example, if you want to do a survey, so you install the survey plugin over here, and then most probably the survey will have the functionality of available plugins, so you can add the plugin into your widget area. So far that's what we see in our website, which is a cool progress. Let's take it now one step ahead. I wanna tell you how you can choose. Of course, this is happening by default, but just in case your WordPress environment didn't support this type of setup, most probably when you are creating your WordPress, you won't have the home page or the blog being set for you. So what you need to do in this case is that you need to create them. So in case, I'll show you, I'll give you an example. Let's assume that my WordPress didn't have any home page. So I'm gonna trash this page, like literally, as if it wasn't there. So accordingly, as you can see here, the website doesn't have any home page. So when I enter the website the first time, the first page which I'm gonna see, I guess it's gonna be the blog. Now let's double check now, because there's no home page anymore. Yes, exactly, because that's the default WordPress environment and WordPress page. That's the actual blog post. That's a blog page. So we're gonna trick WordPress into extending the functionality for our website, where we're gonna have this amazing home page to act as a landing page for us, and have the blog only accessed from the blog menu entry. So how we can do that is from first of all, you need to create the home page. So you need to actually create a new page and call it homepage, which was already there, by the way. But anyhow, so you want to say, this is my primary home page. I'm gonna edit this later on visually with Thrive Content Builder. Cheers. Now let's update this. Now the page is there in the database now, right? So if you click, you will find that I just created a new home page 1 minute backwards. But still, when I refresh, when I visit my website, I don't see this home page, right? Because is what I just written here, it's just a name. When if I write on home page, it means nothing. It doesn't mean that it will show up in the home page. And to be like more so you won't have this confusion. Let's call this random page. Doesn't matter really, the name doesn't matter, and nothing happens. So how can we have a page of our own creation to be our home page? So this is done from settings, from I guess either writing or reading. Let's see. I guess it's reading. Exactly. And this is where you can select the display of the home page. Either it's gonna look at your latest posts, which is the blog, or it's gonna look at your static page. And if you look at the static page, you will be able to select any page of your website to be your home page. In our case, we created the random page, which we just created just 30 seconds back. I want to click the random page and keep the post page as the blog page, and then save. When I refresh, you will see my new home page now. So that's my random page, and that's my what I just wrote now for you. Now if you notice, the home page disappeared from here. Why? Because I deleted that original page, and what I'm showing now is a new page. So I could choose right now to go to menu and add the home entry over here. So I go to menu, see, it's an invalid. Why? Because the page is deleted. Exactly. So I'm gonna remove this entry. I'm gonna add the random page, add to menu, and in the menu I can call it whatever I want, home, because that's just the visual part of the menu item, the menu item. So let me refresh and you'll be able to see home once again. So that's functionality which I'd like to call, let's use the proper terminology here. Let's go to settings, reading. It's called the my homepage display functionality. So I'm gonna call this my homepage display functionality. Excellent. So let's do more functionality, because I want you to have this sense of control, the visual control of your website. Small things, very small tiny steps, as you are seeing now, it has the great effects on how your website looks and feel. Right? So another trick, if you look at your blog, of course right now it's not that obvious because the blog is too small. But let's just assume for now that your blog is a long blog post. Let me copy text from here. Let me edit this and do this, just copy and paste for now. Save, update. Let's go back to settings, reading. I just updated this, and let me refresh the blog page. You can see how I am available on the blog page, right? But then the blog is like showing all of it. Well, it's something completely different than what I have here on my website, where, for example, in the blog page, you can only see a very limited side, a very limited side, a very limited text or part of your blog post, and there's an option for you to continue reading. So how this is done is from here, reading, you go to full each article in feed show, so you need to click on summary. That's it, So this step I'm gonna call showing the summary in the feed, not the full article. Now let me just refresh. Now if I refresh my post, you will find that now we have a neater. Did I save or no? I don't. Okay, I guess it's the caching. Remember when I was telling you about the cache and what it does? So this is the effect of the cache. When this happens, when you don't see any updates on your website, although you are having some changes which you are doing here, you need to do what is called purging the cache. So the cache, I guess it's what's being stored in your browser history. When you purge, you clear this browsing history. So in case there is any pages saved in the history and it's not allowing any updates to happen, the old saves will be cleared, and then the new updates will be showing in your website. Okay, but in this case, cache had no effect. For each article in a feed, show the summary. Okay, home, blog. I'll do this again. Purge this page. Refresh. Okay, then I guess it's related to the actual blog posts. Let me see from here. Edit. Visual, add medium. Screen options, revisions, exert, send. Layout, enable full height editor, distraction free functionality, send trackbacks, custom field, discussion, comments, like author format. Okay. Okay, excellent. So that's the part. If we do, because if we do, this is the summary. Update. Refresh. Blog. It's showing over here, but that's not what I meant. But what I wanted to do is basically just showing this small part of the blog, you know. So for some reason I don't know what's there or why it's not showing at the moment. So I'm just gonna label this for now. I'm just gonna label this, and I'll figure this out, and I'll do like a small update for you with screenshots if necessary, and I will give you the update, like why it's not happening here at this point. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. So basically, like, these are the basic functionality things which you can do in your website. Let me just go through if I can see if like there's more critical things. So site title, site tagline. Okay, so that's one thing which is pretty much extremely easy to figure this out. So the site title and the site tagline is what you see. I'm gonna show you where. This is what you see here. Mahmoud Utaibi, my personal website. You see when I hover, the text is like there's a small highlighted text which is showing. That's one thing. And also the name of the website. Remember this, when we started on the website, this didn't have this name over here. So that's this part where it's you can change it from general settings, site title, and tagline. So I'm gonna write changing site title and tagline. That's one step. Let's continue. Now you leave all of this same. You don't need to do anything over here. It's fine. You can Bluehost coming soon page. Yes, you need to turn it off. Now I'll tell you one thing. You might be facing this when you are building your site. So I'm gonna turn this on for some time. I'm gonna tell you why. Save. Now, as you can see, I am now in the incognito mode, right, in the browser. And this is turned on. It says Bluehost coming soon page, it's on. So in case I want to access my website, it should say that the page is on, right? Sorry, that the page is coming soon, yet I'm able to see my home page. So why am I able to see my home page? The answer is because I'm signed in. That's the answer. That's the reason. So this could cause you some confusion later on, and you won't be able to understand why you are able to see your home page, but other people can't see your home page, because you are the admin, you are administrator who is signed in. So what you need to do is turn this off from here. But let's verify this conclusion together. Now that's a normal browser which is not in incognito mode. Let's try to access mahmoudatebi.com, and it's gonna show that the WordPress site is coming soon. But if we turn this off, alright, if we turn this off and refresh, now we'll be able to enter the site, the home page of the website, as you can see. So this is, I'm gonna call the coming soon page on and off for non-signed users. Cool. So this is done. In writing, there's one tip which we need to look at in writing. The default post category, we can choose this. If you created more categories from your post section, you can choose to change your default post category, right? So that's one minor thing. Okay, deciding on your default post category. Default post format. Okay, now this is a cool feature, because you know some of you guys are posting pictures or videos, so you can choose here if your post is a text or just simply a video showing over here, right? So choosing your default post format. Now, posting via email, that's obviously from the name that you can post a blog post when you send an email to your server over here, which I don't think we're gonna do this ever. But anyhow, reading, we were just in this part together. Like, this is when we together created the played with the home page and the post page, and then the discussion. Yeah, this is related to comments and related to how discussions will appear on the comments when people start speaking with each other under the comments. So it's not something which we would do now together. Media. Yeah, so this controls the basic media which you are uploading on your website. Okay, now as you know that you can be uploading pictures of very high resolution, and some pictures the size could be like in tens of megabytes, and you can from here you can control the pixels and the dimensions for the picture which you are uploading to be stored in your WordPress. Now there is a good topic here which we can talk about this later on in future videos, which is how you can optimize your pictures in a way that will look a good quality and high resolution without losing without compromising on quality, and at the same time without needing to store a huge size pictures. Because remember, when you put a 10 megabyte picture in one page, when that page is gonna load with one website visitor, it's gonna load a 10 megabyte picture. It's gonna kill the browser. It's gonna take a lot of time to load, and you don't want to do that. So there is a special topic which is related to image optimization. There are special plugins which we can use as well for image optimization, like I said. So more on that later on. Now the permalink is a good permalink is a good thing over here. But before I go, I'd like to just note like this is a cool thing what I just said. Now I don't want to lose track of this, so we're gonna create a module which I would like to call image optimization on your WordPress site. Image optimization on your WordPress site. Okay, this deserves a separate module, a separate video. Okay, the last thing in settings is what we call the permalink. The permalink is, as you can see here, when you're creating a new page in your WordPress installation, on your WordPress, let's say you're creating this new page now. The new page is, let's say, my story, and then you want to publish this page. The URL of the page that you're creating just took the same exact name of the title, which is the thing which we want. And you see here that the settings, the default settings which I see here, is that it just had selected the day and name, right? So I guess this is not even this is not really the optimal thing, because we want to have the URL structure that will consist only of the post name, nothing else but the post name. Sometimes you can I don't know, is it maybe in your installation the default setting will be like a numeric link, which is not good, because we need to have the post name in the URL. This has SEO ranking factors and effects later on. And also forget about the SEO, because this has like a tiny impact on SEO, but just I'm saying that it's really more even appealing to your visitors. The links you know, sometimes you would need to make memorizable links like your website.com/offer, for example, or / whatever, you know. So you have to have this post name selected in the perma links. So save. Let me perma links to be the post name. So that's what it is in the settings. Let's go back and revisit the appearance now and see if we missed anything so far. So this is where we're gonna this is where we have the themes, right? In customize, this is where we can play with the colors of the, like I said, the banners or the menu items, or even the ink. And if you, when you are installing like cool themes, and you know, paid themes, most probably, with we're gonna do that in the next video, right? You will see that this will greatly extend with tons of more functionality, right? So even the theme, the big theme, it extends the functionality of how your website would appear, and also the customization on that appearance. The widgets is fully covered, the menu is fully covered, the header, the background is all a part of the same customized panel. So I guess we're good. We've fully conquered this WordPress environment now, and I guess this is it for now. If there's anything which I've missed, please let me know, because you know, I'm publishing this as a course, so sort of like this is a course environment where you can actually do comments. I will read your comments. If I see that there's anything is missing, I will go back, I'll create a small module and I'll add it to this course, you know. So I would love to hear from you if you see anything is missing, and perhaps you see that how I'm not really, you know, being any, you know, I'm so far away from being formal with you. Maybe I should be like more formal, but I just decided to be like, you know, like real and draw with you, because my personal opinion, I might be wrong on that, you know, formal courses are boring. You know, when I look at a course with someone speaking like a computer, I feel bored. So I hope that, you know, this wasn't too messy for you at the same time, you know, because there's some mess, I know, when going from one page to the other. So anyhow, please feel free to give me your feedback, and thank you so much. This is the end of video number 2 under this course, and I guess there will be a couple of videos more. The coming video will be about installing your theme and then restructuring all your site with that new theme, along with doing some banners. They're working with the visual editor, you know what I mean, and that theme will be a premium theme. Like I have you know, I'm with thrivethemes.com. They provide amazing premium themes, so we're gonna install that theme and see the effect of a premium theme on the website and how this website will evolve, right? Another video will be after that the basic plugins which you need to have on your website. And after that, we can create more videos which is just focused on special functionalities, just like what I just said now about the image optimization, for example. This could be a 15 to 20 minutes video. We could create videos about just blogging and how the blog should be structured, and how we can do SEO optimization for your blog, you know. Tons of things that we can. I'm really excited to cover all of this for you. So please let me know in the comments. Find your way to contact me, ask me questions, and I'll be more than happy to create the videos and do the structure for you. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the coming ones.